Yep, another video. This one here is going to be on my 2003 Chevy Silverado 1500 pickup. Had it for about 2 years now. Um, some issues with it currently, things I need to do, little modifications I want to do. So go through that on this video. And yeah, it's one of the many projects. So this one I use this truck to haul snowmobiles and lighter duty kind of stuff. But yeah, check it out. So this is the 2003 Silverado. It's a 1500. Apologize for the wind again if you can hear that. I've only had this thing about the last year or so. This thing replaced my S10 ZR2 truck that I had for a few years. Pretty much stock as well. It does have a K&N intake, but otherwise pretty much stock. This one has a couple minor issues as well. And it's just one that just picked up recently. It started over the winter, and then this summer I haven't really seen it because the weather's been warm. Now the weather's getting cool again. It's popped up again. It needs intake manifold gaskets. They're it just has like a misfire. It just I think the not so much a misfire, but the mass airflow sensor versus air that's actually getting the engine obviously a little bit off. If you pull the plug in the mass airflow, it runs okay. And I know the mass airflow has been replaced on this thing, so I don't think that's the problem. I did get some intake manifold gaskets put on this thing. I need to pick up some knock sensors as well. There's no issue with the knock on this thing, but I've heard you can get water in there on the knock sensors. You can have issues, so I'm going to replace that as well when I get in there. But yeah, overall this thing does pretty well. Other than, like I said, the symptoms when it's cold out, that should be a quick, easy fix. It does have a couple minor issues in here. It's also the loaded version. This is the LT model for an 03. The gauges are messed up, and it's actually the stepper motors. It's apparently a pretty common problem in these. I've had it already on a couple cars. Some pretty much seems like 2000 to 2005-ish, 03, 04, 05 in particular. It seems like a lot of GM vehicles where you'll just have certain gauges that don't work, certain gauges that they work but they read way off, or they go all over the place. Apparently they used bad stepper motors back then. It's a common problem that needs to be fixed. So you can take the gauges out. You can actually do it yourself. I don't know what I'm going to do, or I might just send them off. Couple hundred bucks. You can just have all the motors replaced. This thing also has, which apparently is somewhat common on these, the shift, what would you call it? The indicator light shows which gear position you're in. You can't read it. It's barely lit, and sometimes it's just off, so you kind of have to guess sometimes to make sure you're in the right gear. I did pick up this little thing. I don't remember what it's called. There's no name on it. I don't know if it's like smart gauge or what it is, but got it on Amazon probably for about 50 bucks. It plugs into your OBD2 reader, the OBD2 port, excuse me. So it's technically good for anything 96 or newer, and it has, I think, 4 or 5 little digital displays on there. It's just black and white, and it'll literally read anything your vehicle has a sensor for. Speed, tach, any temperature for anything. And most vehicles, at least nowadays, have sensors for everything. They just might not have gauges for them. So that thing's kind of nice. It's worked specifically because this thing, the speedo, was just all over the place. Currently we're doing 70 miles an hour. You'll fire this thing up, and sometimes it'll go down to 0. Sometimes it starts at 70. So you never know. So that gauge was just a little temporary fix, but I just need to rip this out and fix it. So as far as improvements, things I want to do to this truck, nothing too crazy. Eventually kind of want to sell it, probably not for another year or so. I'd honestly like to get a 2500 really of the same truck. I love to get like a early mid 2000s 2500, get the 6 liter. It'd be great to find a manual, but They're pretty rare. I do prefer the extended cab over the crew cab. I know if you had a big family or a bunch of people, the crew cab's better. Okay, wind, stop it. But I mean, you get easy access in there for probably 4 adults. I mean, you can get 5 in there. It's not the greatest, but especially for 1 or 2 people, storage in the back's great. So, and I typically prefer 2-door vehicles. So let's fire this thing up. Sorry about the wind again. It is deciding right now to kick up. So let's see. Idle is idle's pretty decent right now. Probably gets this warm out. The engine, I drove this a little while ago, so there's a little bit of heat in there. So it's really not idling bad right now. But show off what's going on under the hood. This thing is a 1500 4-wheel drive. It's got the 5.3. It's got the K&N intake. But yeah, not too much going on in here. Yeah, so runs pretty good. Like I said, it's just got a minor air leak, so get that fixed, and mechanically this thing's solid. So things I want to do to this, kind of similar to the Suburban, to be honest. Probably gonna do headers and like a full exhaust in this thing as well, pretty similar to the Suburban. Probably do headers into a Y pipe, and then it'll be true duals, but they run down the passenger side with 2 pipes right next to each other, and they're probably dumped by the axle. Other than that, not too much. It's got the intake. I'm not going to mess anything with internal on this. Fix a couple other minor things that need to be fixed, like the gauges, things like that. A little bit of cosmetic on this. I don't know. I've never been a fan of this front end. I probably should put the hood down just to kind of show it. So you have the chrome bar, which personally I've never really liked, but it's the standard Chevy thing forever, I guess. Not so much in the new vehicles, but the bumper is black, chrome, and gray. And the wind's picking up again. Sorry about that. I don't know. I mean, it's just, I have no idea why they did that. So I think the quick fix on this, it's actually, the bumper's bent a little bit on the driver's side. I think this thing has some minor collisions on all 4 corners. But probably do new bumpers, which is the steel in the front, and then in the back probably go black. Maybe I can fix that in the front. I haven't really looked at it yet, or maybe paint it or plastic dip it or something just to get it black. Maybe even a new grill. Nothing really wrong with that grill, but just try something different. But not too much else. So basically just some cosmetic stuff. It has old wheels and tires on here now, which I already have replacements for. If you've seen the other videos, they've probably been in the back. But I got these Crayer knockoffs, and these are Falcon AT3 tires, I believe. Brand new. A little dirty from sitting here for a while, but they're brand new. The only reason they're not on yet is I had them on when I first got them. When I first got the tires put on, the truck's got a bit of vibration. I don't know if it's just natural harmonics of the truck driving down a concrete road with the seams in the road, because it has a little bit of a shake currently. But when you put these new tires, oh, it gets worse. So I'm going to take these back down to the tire shop, have them spin them again, see if there's any issues with it all, if they see anything with the wheels or the tires. If the wheels look bad, or if they see anything on the tires. They didn't. I went down there and they said they didn't see anything, but they'd said they check them again. So if they work out, we'll get them put on. But otherwise, yeah, a few things to come on this. But this is the 03 Silverado. So that was a little intro to the 2003 Chevy Silverado. One thing that did happen in the last 6 months or so, especially since that was shot. Unfortunately, the transfer case has gone out on it. Apparently had a leak, didn't really see it, lost a lot of the fluid. Haven't pulled it yet to see if it's rebuildable or just needs to be replaced. But so that's kind of a big thing we got to get done on that before we can use it. It's been sitting pretty much all winter. I bought that Audi a couple months ago, and ended up driving that a lot, especially throughout the winter. It does really well. So, but yeah. So amongst the little tiny things, the big one now is transfer case. So, but yeah. Thanks for watching on that, and we'll see you in the next one.